So hey, it's Laura Whitmore with BackStory Events. We're live from the 2017 NAMM Show Musical Instrument Convention in Anaheim, California. I'm here with guitarist and awesome person, Jennifer Batten.
Good to be here and out of the chaos and noise for just a minute.
Just make sure you hold your mic tight because they got to hear you.
Got it.
So Jennifer, do you have a new album that you came out with recently?
I have one that's coming out this year. It's been years since I had one, but this is a two-people project.
A two-people project. Okay,
Yeah,
tell us about it.
I was asked to do some sessions in Chicago with a really great singer named Mark Scherer, and they flew me in twice, and then he called me up and said, you know, the playing has really changed the album. So he wanted me to be more of a part of it. So now the album cover says Scherer Batten. So it's turning into a thing instead of just a session. And a really, really fine singer. It's been a long time since I played with a singer. So, okay, I'll eat the mic.
What kind of music is it?
You know...
Can you categorize it? Can you put it in a box for me, please?
Yeah, kind of like Foreigner. I mean, that's the closest thing that it's really, really night and day different from my solo records, obviously, because that's all guitar. But it's pop stuff.
Oh, that's really cool. So when do you think we might see that in the universe?
I'm gonna guess late spring. We don't have a release date yet, and they're just starting to mix now. So that's exciting.
We got to look out for that. Do you have a name for it? Is there a name?
It's just our name. It's Mark, just Scherer Batten.
Okay, very cool. So you have a track on the new She Rocks Volume 1 that we were sharing a little bit earlier today. Very excited to release that tomorrow at the She Rocks Awards. So can you tell us about the track that you shared on that CD?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that track because for many years I just was a guitar head. You know, and this is the first track that I ever wrote that was a ballad. So it goes a lot deeper than things in my first couple records. It's called In the Aftermath, and it's kind of exotic, and it goes into really different territory. It was just kind of open up a new chapter for my playing. So I'm glad it's on the She Rocks record.
Yeah, me too. So for those of you who don't know Jennifer Batten's backstory, she played with Michael Jackson for
10 years.
Yeah, 10
3
years.
tours.
So tell us a story from the road with Michael Jackson. Can you share something with the people on Twitch?
Sure. Gosh, when I first joined him, it was 1987, and Sheryl Crow was the only other female in the band. And I just remember we were kind of insecure about having the biggest tour on Earth, and we weren't really getting any feedback, like, how are we doing? We wanted somebody to pat us on the back or something. And before we knew it, we had passports and a flight to Tokyo, and Michael shut down the Tokyo Disneyland so we could hang out without the riffraff for a few hours. I mean, who can do that, for starters?
I would love it if somebody shut down Disneyland so I could just go on all the rides.
I just, ever since then, I just cannot wait in lines, period.
Michael Jackson spoiled you for life.
Yeah, man. I mean, we would go on a roller coaster, and usually you have to wait in line for an hour or 2 hours to get a 2-minute ride. We would go on it, and when we were done, they'd go, well, want to go again? Yeah.
Maybe that's too good. You need that break in between.
Yeah. So Cheryl and I were hanging out in one of the gift shops, and there was the coolest thing in the world. It was a Daffy Duck toothbrush holder where you push the head down and the eyes go back and forth for as long as you're supposed to brush your teeth. And I was, this is what I spend my money on.
Yeah.
And I was totally fascinated with it. And Michael came up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, I like how you're playing the Beat It solo. And I thought, job security.
Oh, there you go.
I am now valid.
You got a 2 seconds of praise from Michael Jackson. You're good. You're good to go. You'll take it. So you're here at NAMM. Are you playing here?
I am demoing my booty off between Fishman, demoing the Fishman wireless triple play MIDI system, which is phenomenal. And this year they're announcing joining with East West to make expansion packs of sounds. So I've gone from 32-bit to 64-bit, way hi-fi. I got orchestras at my fingertips. I got all the brass instruments without the spit. Harmonica.
No, because you're not shy with what you can do with your instrument there.
Well, I just do what I do and keep growing.
Tell me about your go-to guitar. What guitar are you playing these days?
You know what? I got a new guitar, and I've got 3 of the same model. It's Washburn's Parallax, and it's really phenomenal. It's got what's called a Stevens cutaway, which allows you to get up to the 24th fret. It's the first time I've ever played 24 frets, so every once in a while I'm in the wrong key. But what's a fret between friends, right? And the way it's designed is really, really, really slick. So I have 3 of them, and I'm experimenting with different pickups, different string gauges with all of them, and it's kind of joyous because I've played the same guitar for 20 years, so having a change has kind of put a new fire under me.
Wow, that's very cool. So I hear that you've released some instructional DVDs on TrueFire. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've been aware of the TrueFire company for many years, and I was just kind of shy about doing instructional videos. It's just the thought of having a camera in my face, or at 5, was just a little intimidating. But I finally jumped in, and I'm really glad I did, because it's a wonderful company to work for. I love the people that work there, and I can fly to Florida in the wintertime and see the sun for a few minutes. I live in Portland, Oregon now, and just coming from an ice storm. So I've done a course on lead guitar, another one on rhythm guitar, the third one on intervallic licks, and the next one is going to be Jeff Beck licks.
Woo! Well, that leads right into my next question about Jeff Beck, because you played with Jeff Beck. I've heard this story before, but maybe some of our viewers haven't heard about you getting together with Jeff Beck. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, he's been my guitar hero since I was probably 14, and I just wanted an autograph. That was on my bucket list. And on I think it was the Dangerous tour, I knew we were going to England, so every city that we went to, we always had Sony reps there, and I would ask the reps if they had any way to get in touch with Jeff, knowing that they did. And so eventually he got first-class tickets to Wembley Stadium with 80,000 other people. That's a nice way to meet somebody. Come to my gig at Wembley Stadium. And so I met up with him, and I ended up going to the studio he was recording his rockabilly record at the next day. Got my autograph, went on my way, and I did a video for Flight of the Bumblebee where I was covered with live bees. Wouldn't recommend it. I'm allergic now. I got an EpiPen.
No, we don't want to do that.
No.
Don't do that at home.
The things you do to try to sell a record. Anyway, it was on MTV over there, and I had just gotten a video of it and gave that to him and crossed it off my checklist for my bucket list. And a couple months later, he called me up and said, "I finally listened to your record. Let's do a record together." And I did not expect that.
Yeah, that's what you want to happen, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a dream I had, because he'd never played with another guitar player since Jimmy Page and the Yardbirds. And to have me there, I knew, although he was fine to have me just play guitar, I knew that I really needed to get into guitar synth, because he had 30 plus years of records with really fantastic keyboard players backing him up. So I jumped into synth world and trial by fire. But I'm glad I did, and after that gig, I didn't use synth for many, many years because it was so much equipment, and now to get even like 10 times the amount of sounds that I had back then, all it takes is a MacBook Air to store the sounds and a triple play wireless MIDI system, and I'm good.
Yeah, it's changed a bit, right?
Oh, I love technology when it works. Anything smaller or lighter, I'll take it.
But when it doesn't work, that's a whole nother...
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
We're not talking about that today, because everything's working here. So, I've seen you play with you have this really amazing video performance, multimedia performance thing that you do. So talk a little bit about that and how you got the idea for the video content and doing that all as a show together.
Well, you know, after I played with Michael Jackson and Jeff Beck, I had a one-day midlife crisis, and I thought, what the hell do I do next? And just the idea of putting a band together and having responsibility for those people, not knowing how many people would show up at a gig, and realizing I could go into debt in a hurry,
Yeah.
I thought there's got to be a way that I can travel alone and do my own music. And then I came up with the idea of videos, to have something more entertaining than watching somebody play to tracks. So I put out the word for a year and a half to film schools and Google ads and everything to try to get filmmakers to make films. And after a year and a half, I only had 4 films. So the guy that sent me the first film showed me how to do it, and I became totally obsessed with filmmaking. And now I have, gosh, over 3 hours of films and tracks that I can play. And it's a real low-maintenance gig. As long as somebody can provide a screen when I travel, I carry projectors that are 3 pounds each, and I can do a show.
Yeah, another way technology has really changed, because
Yes.
like it's incredible. You know, I saw you do that. I saw Kaki King did a show
Oh, right.
too where she used projectors, and it really does add this other element to the performance that it fills it in a really interesting way.
Well,
you know?
one of the great benefits is now I can have little kids in my audience, and they will be fascinated for a 90-minute show of instrumental music because of the film. So that's a real extra bonus.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what else is coming up for you? Will you be touring? Are you touring? You're always touring.
Yeah, it's been a busy few years. I'm going to Europe in April. I'll probably be there for a couple months, playing with various bands. I got a band in Poland I've been playing with every year for a couple weeks at a time, and going to UK for a month. And you know, any day I could open up my email and something else will come up. I might be going to Bahrain for the first time also.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where has been the place that you've toured that has just blown your mind? Where you're like, yeah, I'm going back there.
I have a few favorite places, and they change. Anytime I have a good time somewhere, I go, this is my new favorite place. I had a really good time touring Northern Ireland a couple years ago, Australia. I remember when I was on the Jackson tour, there is an ease that happens when you're in an English-speaking country. So Australia and New Zealand were really fun. But I like Spain as well, and I know a little Spanish, so that's a pretty special country.
Have you gone back there on vacation, or there's no vacation for you?
Vacation is home. That's home.
You don't want
me.
to travel when you're on vacation. You're like done.
Yeah. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to jump on a plane unless there's money at the other end.
So you probably, I don't know if you had any time to walk around the show here, but
Not much.
Have you seen anything at the show that you're like, I got to check that out?
No, I'm demoing 5 times a day, going back and forth.
All right.
But I've heard about a few things that at some point I'll probably come early and check them out, because there are a few things that are exciting.
All right, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us.
Sure enough.
People can find out more about Jennifer Batten at
JenniferBatten.com or just Batten.com, Batten.
both of them. You got them both.
Yep, funneled to the same place. I got all my tour dates and.
Well, very cool. And
music.
we'll see you tomorrow night at the She Rocks Awards.
Yeah, looking forward
We'll
to that.
be celebrating the release of She Rocks Volume 1. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right.